Wadworth 6X.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is well and truly over the yard arm. It is Friday, work has finished and it is time for a beer. And finally, I managed to get hold of a bottle of the 6X, Wadworth 6X. I was in Maidstone Town Centre today and there's an old school off licence in there. And I went in there and I was quite impressed by their range of beers. What they had was all the usual Marston stuff, but they also had some Fuller stuff. They had ESB, London Pride, Fuller's Golden Pride as well, and they also had the Honeydew, which is really unusual, especially the Golden Pride. That was that was a bit of a turn up, but I've already reviewed it, so I didn't buy it. And they had a space for the Old Roger, you know, Marston's Old Roger. It's their sort of old ale, if you like, but it is all sold out and I was absolutely gutted. But I moved along the shelf and I saw a bottle of this. Now I've been trying to get hold of this stuff for ages. They don't do it in any of the supermarkets around here, and I've been told consistently by people how good this is. Never tried it, and I managed to pick it up for £2.29 for a 500ml bottle, which is not bad at all. And it would have been the last place I looked, because I've never been in this off licence before, and there's a lot of, shall we say, people who like a tipple early in the morning that hang about outside. And it didn't put me off, but I just thought it's going to be selling crap beer if that's the sort of place they frequent. But it shows how much of a fucking snob I am and how much I shouldn't be, because they had this stuff in there. And there had a couple of others in there as well. They had Marston's Pedigree, which again, you know, you'd think that'd be easy to get hold of. It's not. I've really struggled to get it in the supermarkets around here, but this off licence seems to have it, so I may have to pay that another visit. Quick, get the fucking bottle opener out. What are you doing, you twat? Quick thing about this beer, or Wadworth as well. They're from a place called Devizes. Now, I hope I've pronounced that right, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. That's in Wiltshire, which is you may not have heard of it, but if you've heard of Stonehenge, that's where Stonehenge is based. It's in Wiltshire, so you know the county. We certainly know Stonehenge anyway. But there's a bit of a history to this brewery. They have been going since 1875, and they were brewing this beers since then. But this stuff didn't come around till 1923, and originally it was 6%, hence the name, I think. And they had to stop it during World War II because of the rationing. Obviously, malt was being used for far more important things like beer and stuff like that. So they had to drop the ABV, so the malt bill wasn't as high. And I imagine that's why they've stuck to this recipe. That's nearly 100 years old, believe it or not, and it hasn't changed since then. So that's quite a feat, I think. And they're quite a traditional brewery. They still have draft horses that deliver beer around the locality of Devizes. And they've got quite a few pubs as well in London and the South East. I think it's 150. And some of them are award winning. I'll be intrigued to know which ones are in London, because I may have to try some of this stuff on draft if it is as good as people say. So let's stop guessing and let's find out if it really is as good as people say. Okie dokie, it is a 4.3% bitter, apparently. Well, they call it an amber ale, but it's won 3 awards on the trot, the World Beer Awards. Now, they're not some 2-bob awards, they are genuine awards. Won it 3 years on the trot, 2017, 2018, 2019. And I think in 2019 they won it in the category that was bitters under 4.5%. So they've classed this as a bitter, but it's called a crafted amber ale. So, well, yeah, you know, the terms are quite fluid. What is the ingredients? Malted barley, Oh, it doesn't say. It just says contains malted barley. Well, fucking hell, it's a beer. The nose is malty and fruity with balancing hoppy notes. This delicious malt and fruit character emerges even more intensely on the palate with long, lingering malty finish. Now, this sounds right up my street. Best served at room temperature. Yeah, I do get that. And this is very, very, very slightly chilled, and it's quite warm in this room, so this will be very quick in getting down to room temperature. And that is about it. It just says crafted in devices for over 80 years. Well, it's fucking nearly 100 years now. And this timeless amber. What the fuck does that say? This amber hued, why don't you say coloured, has been distinctly full-bodied and eminently drinkable. Okay, so it does talk a good fight. And I have heard from subscribers, and I think is it there was a reviewer, and for the life of me, he hasn't reviewed in a while, but he's from down that way, and he reviewed 6X, and he was telling me how great it was as well. What was his name? Mr. Something Beer Review. What the fuck? See, this is what happens when you get old. You forget things. It's not Mr. Bob, is it? That's what I call the dog. Fucking hell. I don't know, but he knows who he is anyway, and you know, check him out. Anyway, let's get this open. That will come to me when I'm not thinking about it. But let's get this open and let's see what's going on. Right, cap is just plain silver cap. Get that in there. Let's get it in the glass. There's a little bit left in there. I'm not going to pour it all out. What are we getting on the nose? Oh yeah, very malty indeed. And there's some dried fruit on that as well, like dark fruit. And I'm getting caramel and a little touch of toffee malt on that as well. Mr. Ronald's Beer Reviews, that's it. I do apologise. I knew it'd come to me when I'm not thinking about it. Fucking hell, this is what happens when you get old. I've got fucking years of this to look forward to. When I go out the house with no fucking strides on, that's when I want to start worrying. Anyway, enough about my trouserless exploits. Let's get this down the hatch. Cheers. Wow, that really is as good as people say. God. Lovely caramel and toffee malt. That's the first thing that gets me. And then the fruit. And it's really nice. That is like... What is that like? It's like sultanas and raisins. And like berries. Dark berries. But that is really good. Oh, that's really fucking good. They were not joking when they said this stuff was really good. And I'm so glad I've picked some of this up, because this is really good. And I do mean really good. It's got a lovely hop bitterness on it as well, which, you know, again, is typically British. Really nice earthy bitterness on top of all that sweet malt and that fruit. You're getting caramel malt and toffee malt. It's more caramel, but there is a touch of toffee on there, which makes it even, the body on it, a bit more intense. And then you're getting that dried fruit, and as it goes down, you get a slight earthy bitterness on the finish, but The malts are what make this, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, that is outstanding. That is a really good beer, and all the hype, all the hype around it. You know, I really do want to try beers for myself. I do not believe the hype until I try it. But believe me, this is not hyped at all. This is a really, really good beer. So what's the verdict on Wadworth 6X? Yeah, where has this been? You know, I really did try and hunt this down. I tried Sainsbury's, I tried the Morrisons, I tried Tesco's around here. I just could not get it. And there's a big Asda superstore in near Rochester, I think it is. And I went down there, went all the way down there, and I thought surely they must have it in there. They didn't have it, and it sort of became a lost cause. And you know, I go on a couple of West Ham forums, and there's a couple of West Ham fans from around Wiltshire and all that, and they were in Hampshire as well, and they were saying how good this stuff was. And I just couldn't get hold of it. And I just had too many people saying how good it was for me to ignore it. And finally found it today, and it's the first beer of the day for me. What is it now? It's 4:45 on a Friday afternoon, and this has been in the fridge now for about an hour or so. And I got the missus a birthday card. It's her birthday on Sunday. I got her this. I'm sure she'll like it. Yeah, because there was another one as well, and it was like, what was it saying? Oh, this card reminds me of you. It's cheap and blank on the inside. I fucking did not get to that. My fucking gonads would be separated from my body. Very fucking sharpish if I did. But I'm hoping she's going to like that. Anyway, I'm going way off topic here. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the last place I thought I would have seen this beer is in that off licence, and I don't even know why. I went in there looking for some subscriber is asking me to review Murphy's, you know, the Irish Stout, and I've been looking everywhere for it down here. That is another beer I cannot get, and I went into this off licence on the off chance that they'd have some of that, but they didn't have Murphy's. But do you know what? This was sitting on the top shelf. And I'm so glad it was there, because I absolutely love this beer. This is an outstanding ale. Superb mouthfeel. Really nice. And for 4.1 as well. Super sessionable, really drinkable, but just packed with flavour. It really is an outstanding beer. Of course, this is 10 out of 10. If I could give it 11, I would. And that was $2.29 a bottle. Now that is fucking value for money. I don't care who you are. That is a great beer. And I'm definitely going to be buying some of this stuff again. But that's the only place I'm going to be able to get it. So I'm probably going to buy up all their stock of that. But I have to say, that is superb. That is a 10 out of 10. If you can get this, I'm sure everywhere else this is quite easy to get hold of, but this is amazing stuff. I urge you to try it. It's really, really good. And remember, beer is working class champagne.